guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Clara, and today I have the new Pat McGrath Spring 2018 collection, which is the Decadence palette, and a few of the new MatteTrance lipsticks to share with you guys. The lipstick that I'm wearing right now is called Soft Core, which is one of their lighter, more neutral options, and it's just this nice blue-based pink. I do have a darker option called Full Blooded to share with you later as I'm doing the looks, but what I thought I would do today is just kind of demo one eye look on one side and then demo the other eye look on the other side. If you wanted to know more about the formulation of the lipsticks or see like the other colors that she has in the line, I did do a very large lip swatching video of the LuxTrance and the MatteTrance lipsticks, which I will link for you guys. But let's just say a few words about this really intense palette. So kind of the whole theme of this collection is decadence, so like the crown jewels and these nice jewel toned colors that you see over here. I feel like because of the color scheme, people are either going to be like, yes, those are my colors, I have to have this, or you're going to be like, this is a little too adventurous for me. So Pat McGrath eyeshadows are pretty expensive. The palettes are $125 and the lipsticks are, I believe, $38, so it's kind of on the pricey side, but you do get what you pay for. The quality of these is all very, very nice. And I've also noticed that this formula is generally just a little bit creamier than her old palettes, which aren't even that old. They're also really good palettes, but just I feel like she has tried to improve the formulation even more. They're all super creamy and very opaque with just one swipe, except for this kind of dark blue color down here, which is a little bit more sheer, a little bit more powdery. You have to build that one up just a little bit more. The other thing that I've experienced with this palette that I didn't experience with the blue shades that I have in the Subliminal palette is that these blue shades do stain. Another thing that I want to mention that I wasn't like super happy about, even though this is a good standalone palette, is between the different palettes and the rest of the Pat McGrath collection, there are shades that are pretty much dupes for one another. At least they're very, very similar. And I did just pick up the Pat McGrath Metamorphosis before that was like discontinued, and I feel like this gold and silver shade in here are awfully similar to the ones that I just got. It's not really a huge deal if you're just picking up this palette, but I just feel like as a brand it should be a little bit more like diverse between the palettes and not give the consumers the same thing that they've already bought from you, you know, if they're like loyal followers of your brand. But that's just a little caveat if you already have a lot of the Pat McGrath shadows or have been inspired to collect more. So I'm just gonna jump into demoing these shadows. I think I'll do like a kind of blue-based look on one side, and then I really want to use like the purples and maybe the more warm tones on the other side. Kind of the interesting thing about this palette is there are a lot of colors to play with, but I would definitely say it's more of like a pick and choose which colors you're going to use for the look. One last thing to mention is that all of these eyeshadows do have some sort of shimmer in them, and some are really quite intense. There's not really a lot of neutral shades to play with. It's kind of like an accessory palette to your other palettes, but we're going to use this today as a standalone palette for those of you who are just interested in purchasing this one. And on my lids I am wearing on both sides a Too Faced 24-Hour Shadow Insurance Primer, which is my standard. I'm just going to go in with this pewtery taupe shade here for the blue side and hope that it's kind of neutral enough to wear in the crease. I'm using a soft gray squirrel brush to kind of apply this, which really helps it blend out really easily, even though these are naturally very blendable eyeshadows. You can see there's a lot of pigment there, and I'm pretty happy with the way that it blended. It's definitely a little bit on the cool tone side. I'm really interested in this shade here because it's kind of a little different than it looks in the pan. It's sort of like a purpley blue, and it almost has like a hint of warm like sheen to it, but it's very, very subtle. I'm just taking this kind of navy shade as an interesting like transition, and then we're gonna go in with this really intense blue shade. Now this blue is really, really pigmented and creamy, and I do think it's gonna apply best with the finger. That blue is really, really intense. I'm gonna kind of blend it up into the crease again with this navy. I'm gonna go in with this light green shade because this is one of my favorite shades in the palette, and also because combined with that like turquoise blue from earlier, it almost looks like a dragonfly's wing. It's so pretty. I am going to take that on a Psychoho brush because I want a little bit more stiffness and a little bit more pigmentation. I'm also going to take a little of this blue underneath my lash line. I'm just going to mirror the colors that I did on the top, and then I'm just going to go in with this silver shade to brighten the inner V. And then I think I'll take this kind of taupey shade to blend things out. This look is probably a little bit too cool toned for me personally, but I do think that the colors blended together really, really nicely, and I do really like how that light green kind of complemented the turquoise. Even this navy shade, which was a little bit more powdery than the others when swatching, was really easy to blend and actually really pigmented when applied with a brush. Okay, now the other side is going to be a much more warm toned look. I'm going to try to blend both this taupe and that kind of like orangey copper shade into the crease to get a little bit more warm. And I'm just going to take this dark purple shade into the outer V. And this is kind of a color that would be traditionally called eggplant. Now this color here is super intense, but I really want to try it out on this side to see how it looks. So that color is really pretty, and I think it would make a good transition with this orange shade, so I'm going to go in with that. And next I'm going to go in with the gold. And I'm going to just mirror those colors underneath my lash line. So these are the finished looks with the warm tones on this side and the cool tones on this side. And I'm just going to take this opportunity to change my lipstick over to Full Blooded. And this is such a beautiful vampy berry shade. So I really do think that this is definitely a fun palette for people to play with colors. Not so much if you're more of a kind of neutrals lover, as you can see, but let me know which look you guys like better. And also if you would pick up any of the new lipsticks. I do think that this is a very kind of vampy sort of deep purple color, and maybe on me it looks a little bit Emily the Strange, but I do think it would be very, very beautiful on people who have a darker skin tone. And that's pretty much all I have to say for today. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. If you don't know already, we're having a Too Faced diamond highlighter giveaway, which I will link all the details in the description box below for how to enter in that. And also if you found this helpful, please hit the like button. It means a lot to me. And also to hear all you guys' nice comments all the time. You guys are so sweet for sure. I hope that you all have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you again really soon. Bye guys!